Piano Singing Lesson by Jimmy A. A piano has 88 keys. The white ones are named from left to right with 7 letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Then A, B, C, D, E, F, G again and again and again until you get to the far end of the piano, which ends on a C. That's at the extreme right-hand end of the piano. The black keys take their names from the white ones. Each black key has 2 names taken from a white key. If it is to the left of a white key, it is the flat of that key. If it is to the right of a white key, it's the sharp of that white key. From left to right on the piano, the keys are A sharp or B flat, B, C, C sharp or D flat, D, D sharp or E flat, E, F, F sharp or G flat, G, G sharp or A flat. That makes 12 total keys in what is called an octave. When 2 white keys are next to each other, they each have 2 names. B is also called C flat. C is also called B sharp. E is also called F flat, and F is also called E sharp. It's important to learn this because playing a chord uses this information to build up the chord or spell the chord. Some people call it spelling a chord. A chord is made up of more than one note, with each note or notes sounded together at the same time or in sequence. That's arpeggiated or arpeggio. Chord cues refer to combinations of notes. Lyrics are the words of a tune. Chord cues are played above or next to lyrics that is inserted in the text of the lyric to indicate when to play the chord or chords while singing the lyrics. All of the chords are shown at http://www.pianochord.org. You can see how each chord of a tune is spelled by consulting that free service. My method of playing chords and singing is as follows. First, try to stay toward the left side of the keyboard while singing and playing. This makes it easier for the voice to come in above the piano. Each hand many times is indicated on music with the thumb being a T, index finger being a number 1, middle finger being a number 2, ring finger a 3, little finger number 4. They use those symbols many times when they want you to play certain notes with certain fingers. Left hand plays the root note of the chord cue, doubled an octave apart, T for the thumb plus 4, the little finger. These notes are found at the lower third of the keyboard. Much of the time, these bass notes are played first, that's on the beat. The right hand then plays 4 notes together, but after the left hand has already played its notes, and while holding the left hand bass notes with the right side pedal. That's the pedal that you hold with your foot. I like to play 3-note chords, adding a 4th note by doubling the note played with the thumb and playing it a second time with the little finger. This makes it easier for me to change to the next chord using a chord inversion. The 4 notes selected for the right hand are played with 4 of the 5 fingers, depending on how close each finger is to the next note when playing the previous chord, or depending on what the player feels it is easier to do. A chord inversion rearranges the chord notes and makes it easier to change chords without having to move up and down the keyboard to make the next chord. Excuse me. An example of the chord inversion for the right hand is for a G chord, play G, B, D, G. Or you can invert it by going B, D, G, B, or invert it again by going D, G, B, D. For a C chord, you might play C, E, G, C, then invert it and play E, G, C, E, or invert it again and play G, C, E, G. This makes it easier to change from a G chord to a C chord by playing G, B, D, G, and then playing G, C, E, G, keeping the thumb and little finger on a G note, each one an octave apart, means that only moving the middle finger, the index finger and the ring finger, or the index finger and the middle finger, over one white key. This is, there's lots of ways to use chord inversions to make chord changes faster and easier. So the example I just gave you looks like this: G, B, D, G, a G chord, and then change quickly to a C chord by just moving two fingers. G, C, E, G. So you can go back and forth very quickly that way. Just saves having to move your hand way up like this to get a C chord. But sometimes you're going to want to do that anyhow because you want this C chord rather than this C chord. Anyhow, it's usually better to stay low on the keyboard so that your voice can be singing the notes that are higher up than the notes you're playing to accompany yourself. So that is a piano singing lesson. Thank you for looking.